Welcome to Receiving Famous Packages with your host, Nigel Rathbone, where we wait for the post to bring our packages from famous people or famous locations.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Broadcasting live from high atop Stonehead Peak in the Blue Mountain Range, overlooking gorgeous downtown Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. It's the Jeff and Dan Show. It's Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for the Jeff and Dan Show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Deaf and Jan Show.
Deaf and Jan!
Yeah, all right.
Sounds like rap artists.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lads and lasses, welcome to the Jeff and Dan Show. We have a lovely show planned for you tonight. We might actually go live to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and do a remote broadcast from the outside fence of the White House.
All right.
But we probably won't.
Okay. Darn it.
But seriously, tonight's show promises that you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll experience love deeper than you ever have, or your money back.
All right.
Folks, my name is Dan. I am the co-host of the Jeff and Dan Show, and thank you for coming. We're welcoming into your tympanic membranes.
Ooh.
So please give a warm welcome to Jeff in the Jeff and Dan Show. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Dan.
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm not too bad. Hi, Mr. President. We're not going to go to 1600. We might sometime, though.
We should.
Yes.
Well, you know, is it blocked off anymore? Because I'm thinking it's now blocked off.
I think it is, but you can still walk by it. You just can't drive by it.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You just can't drive by
right.
it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but you can walk past it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can walk past. And that's, I think, the last loony nut they had jump the fence was not that long ago from California, and apparently he was, tripping balls or something. I don't know. But yeah, he totally jumped the fence and made it right in there. It was the Secret Service got him, though. Got him pretty good. Not like the times when Obama was president and people jumped the fence and ran inside and were like, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you, sir. I'm going to shoot you now.
Do you think maybe they just might have, let one slide past or two?
That could be.
Seriously, though, who would be moronic enough to go and do that? Don't you realize that you may end up dead?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that do that kind of shit. I mean, it's like bungee jumping from a bridge, Hey, this thing could snap at any time.
Bungee jumping is safer than facing the Secret Service at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely that.
However, come think about it, look at the track record. There's been many people killed bungee jumping. Yeah. I don't think anybody's been killed at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue except Lincoln.
Yeah. And even then, he wasn't quite there. So.
He didn't die in the White House, did he?
No. Yeah. No, he died at Booth's, I'm sorry. Booth's house, yeah. He went over to Booth's house and, they were chilling. No,
let's come on over, fix your head.
Here you've been having migraines, going to help you with that. Yeah. No, where the hell was that? He went to...
he went to Ford's Theater.
Ford's Theater, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ford's Theater. And then directly across the street is the house that they took him to, and then he passed the street. Passed away.
Oh yeah. And then have you ever seen those the coincidences between the Lincoln assassination and the Kennedy assassination?
Yes, but I can't remember any of them. One of
the main ones was that John Wilkes Booth ran from a theater and went to a bookstore or a book place like a library or something, whereas supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald shot from a book depository and then ran to a theater. It's like, ooh, that's one of the things. It's like, oh, yeah, that is kind of weird, though. Both of their, I don't know if it was their vice presidents or somebody or Secretary of State or something, both had the same names. So it's kind of like, wow. Yeah, this is telling, like maybe Kennedy walked into the office and was like, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do all these stuff. We're going to do all these things. And we're going to get everything looking like Lincoln. And I think we're going to live out Lincoln's whole life. So.
Somebody get me a big hat.
Yeah. Ask not what your country can do for you, but give me a big hat.
Made in America.
That's right. So, what has been going on with you, my friend? Lots of shit to talk about, believe it or not.
Oh, my gosh. We got lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We're not even going to fit it all into the whole show.
I know, right?
But I do have to tell you. Today is National Chocolate Custard Day.
Ooh.
Did you celebrate?
No, I did not.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I probably should have. You know what, though? It's really weird. I was looking at, and when I was inside a convenience store, I was looking at the Tasty Cake chocolate pies. Like they have these like
Chocolate
pies.
lovers pies.
No. It's not those kind of pies. It's actually like the Hostess pies. You know, like the glazed outside of it, and it's like a weird taco fucking shape. It's really strange. Yeah, so it's like those, and yeah, man, it was crazy. I was looking at it, I was going, man, do I really want to buy that? And I didn't. I went with the Hostess freaking cheese Danish, or no, the Tasty Cake cheese Danish. Yeah, so Tasty Cake sponsor us. Woohoo! Yeah.
I don't like Tasty Cakes anymore. I still eat them just because I'm addicted to carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, man. Pre-processed stuff isn't what it used to be.
No, not at all.
Even Tasty Cakes have changed.
Yeah, because of trans fats, man. Because they got rid of trans fats.
I guess.
That's what it is, man.
I guess.
They don't want our fat being wholesome anymore. They're like, even your fat's got to be skim milk now. You know what I mean? That's what it's turning into.
Well, on the brighter side, it's also National Paranormal Day.
Ooh, so ghost hunting.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh.
What's that over there?
It's also National Two Different Colored Shoes Day.
Oh, shit, I didn't participate. Actually, I did. One's a lighter gray, then it is a dark black. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
Tomorrow is National Orange Juice Day.
Nice.
National Star Wars Day.
Ooh, yes. Well, that should be May the 4th. That's right.
And National Day of Prayer.
Is it really?
Yep.
Is that same every year?
It's the first Thursday of every May.
Oh, so it's not on the same date.
No.
That's really weird because we always made fun of the fact, well, not made fun, but, just sort of poked at the fact that it's May the 4th be with you. And we always want to say, like, Catholics, true Catholics, and also with you. Hey, man, I don't know. I mean, I there's been so many times where they've pointed out that Star Wars, the earlier ones George Lucas did, that they were pretty much lined up with religion. Direct
correlation with some kind of God.
Exactly.
God
dark side
undercurrent.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think it was intentional, but he followed the good versus evil thing very closely.
Yeah.
So I would think that because of that naturally you're going to have these correlations just surface.
Right.
Well, maybe he did, but I don't think Lucas is all that religious anyways.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. I think he seems to me like he's probably non-practicing. You know what I mean? Probably like a temple kind of guy.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Friday is National Astronaut Day.
Ooh, asshole nuts.
Yeah. That sounds like a tasty treat made by real pricks in Germany, Dutch, German, Pennsylvania country. Astronauts.
Yeah. Yes.
What's yours covered with sugar?
I was actually thinking about coming up with a new William Shakespeare play. It's going to be called Homeo and Juliano. And it's going to be two gay guys. Oh, Homeo, oh, Homeo.
Homeo and Juliano.
Here's a little ditty about Homeo and Juliano.
Friday is also Cinco de Mayo. Are you planning any kind of celebration there, S.A.?
I am not. My homies.
Yeah, neither am I. It's also National Hoagie Day. I will celebrate that. I am going to celebrate National Hoagie Day.
Yeah, pre-processed shit.
Yeah.
Does your meat come in a bag? Well, yeah, it does, actually.
It does if I put it on.
Oh, shit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. What else is it? Anything else?
Well, actually, yes. I have a couple new jokes from the Jeff and Dan Research Department.
Ooh, the R&D.
Yeah, they called me up and they asked me if I would test market a couple of jokes and see how it is, see if it needs any tweaking or tweeting.
Okay.
And, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with the first one.
Okay.
Asian men play cricket. What do gay Asian men play?
Quicket?
Ass hopper. Okay, Kellogg's has hired Jeff and Dan to recreate the Monster cereals. Do you remember the Monster cereals?
Yes, I do.
Blueberry.
Yeah, Frankenberry.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Count Cocula.
Count Cocula. Yes.
Well, they revamped, and redefined the word monster to include mobsters, and killers.
What?
Yeah. So these are the new cereals, new Monster cereals coming out.
Okay.
Sammy the Bullberry.
Nice.
Chocolate flavored Teflon Dawns.
Yuck.
Ted Cinnamon Bundios. Jeffrey Dahmer Crispies, high in protein.
Lots of meat.
Sleeps with the Swedish fishes.
Nice.
And another joke research and development sent up to us this morning. What do zombies eat? Oh, come on.
Brains, man.
Yeah. You got to say it, though. Say it like
brains.
No, say it
Brains.
like there you go. Brains.
Yeah.
What do vegetarian zombies eat?
Grains.
What form of mass transit is preferred by zombies?
I don't know what.
Trains.
I didn't even see that one coming.
What do zombies call their profits from the sale of stocks and bonds?
Gains.
What do zombies smoke?
Weed.
Strains.
Indo-Kush mountain range. You know what I'm saying? This is Indo-Kush, bitches. And there's actually a place in apparently in Afghanistan called Indo-Kush.
Well, I think it's a Kush is actually a product that they use. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think it might be a flavoring or a spice.
Yeah.
Or something.
Could be. Yeah.
I was at my psychotherapist the other day, and he said, "Do you want to take a moment and collect your thoughts?" I said, "Why? Are they scattered all over the front yard again?"
Oh my God! There's that one about going downtown and getting some ass. Wait a minute. Put it back in my head.
And finally, from research and development, the best part of waking up is Maui Wowie in your pipe.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've got the official word of the day.
What's the official word of the day?
The official word of the day is alpaca.
Alpaca.
Yes, just give me 5 minutes and I'll pack a bowl for you.
Alpaca.
Alpaca. I'll pack a bowl for you. That's right.
When Jeff lost a spelling bee.
ILLPACK. Yeah.
THC.
I gotta get some of that in there. Yeah, it sounds like fun. Yeah. So what else?
Well, that's all for research and development. But I do have an interesting story that I'm not totally clear on.
Okay.
The Now Sing Fu theory, which it's a theory now, but it's quickly becoming law as it relates to cyberspace. Now Sing Fu was a Chinese guy who helped develop the internet.
Yeah.
And what his theory was cyberspace is not infinite like people think. It is slowly filled. Every time you type on a keyboard and then hit enter,
right,
and then you try to erase those, all of those go into cyberspace. Every time you delete an email, all of those are going into cyberspace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, cyberspace is filling up. Right. And they think within a year, it's going to start backing up. So all over the world in about a year, when cyberspace is completely full, it's going to back up like the plumbing. And you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna go to your computer and turn it on and get in your email, and all of a sudden you're gonna have like 70 emails from people you don't even know, to people you don't even know,
right?
Half written and attachments half finished and all this other kind of stuff. It just be kind of like the sewer. So what they're proposing to do is every time you log on to the internet, you will pay your IPO provider 50 cents or $1 so they can build a bigger cyberspace container.
Really? This is kind of weird.
I know. This is very weird.
It sounds like one of those fucking Facebook things I always, you get on Facebook when they send it to you. Oh my God, this is an atrocity. You're going to have to pay 50 cents every time you go online.
Keep Facebook free.
Let me guess, it's I'll see you later.
Well, I never heard of it before, but
yeah, that's weird.
And I have some very exciting good news.
All right,
not for me.
Oh,
probably not for most humans, but I'm sure somebody will find it exciting.
Okay,
Roseanna's coming back.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, and I
Roseanne Barr on TV.
Yeah, I think she's bringing John Goodman and Sarah Gilbert.
Really?
No, wait, Sarah Gilbert. That's the one that was on
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah,
no, Sarah Gilbert. You're right. That's the one that was on Roseanne.
Okay.
Yeah, the dark-haired one.
Yeah, And, well, of course, they can't bring back the oldest girl because they don't even know who she is, which character she is this week.
Yeah.
They've got like 3 different girls to play her.
Yeah.
And that little snot-nosed brat boy punk ass needs his ass kicked. Son,
DJ.
Well, you sure do know a lot about Roseanne Barr. I like Roseanne. Then I can't take it anymore. Stop. No.
All right, sorry, man.
No, you can keep going. I just can't talk about Roseanne.
We got whap and roll. Bye. We're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Asians,
What you got?
Get out of the left lane, you stupid Asian bitch. I don't even know why you are there.
speaking of Asians,
Well, I don't want to sound stereotypical, but let me get out the stereotypewriter. And some minorities do drive like minorities. Honest to God.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even white people that are just above a certain age limit get like 69 years old. Well, it can't be 69 because then she blows a rod. 68 years old, and then she owes you one. Or you owe her one, whichever it is. I don't know. You could get 2 out of it. I don't know.
Have you ever heard of a person that never had an accident their whole life? 50 years of driving, 60 years of driving.
Yeah.
And then boom, gets in that accident.
Yeah.
And then the insurance company jacks up their fucking rates.
Yeah, especially if they're older.
Is that fair?
I don't think it is, because you paid all that money over all that time, and if you're with the same insurance company, they've just, gouged your ass for years and years and years. I just don't understand. I mean, I do understand to an extent, but
I do too.
I don't think it's fair that like you pay in like my insurance, shit you not, per year right now is about $2,500 because I have 2 one adult daughter and 1 teenage daughter. That are, high risk.
It seems to me that anybody under 25, you might as well just consider them a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the thing is, we have several cars that are fully covered. And that being the case, we're paying like $2,500 and $2,600 a year, so it's pretty high. And I'm thinking to myself, except for when I get into parking lot accidents, like driveway accidents, except for those, I don't get into any type of accidents that I have to call the insurance company and tell them, hey man, I got into an accident, pay for this.
Why are parking lot accidents exempt?
They're not exempt. Usually just don't. I mean, if I'm talking about like my driveway, like if I get into like a little kerfluffle out there, then it's like, I'm not going to call the insurance company, even though like the whole car is smashed into nothing.
So if you had a fender bender out at Walmart inside their parking lot,
right,
and you wanted to, the insurance company would have to pay out for that?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, my wife's just going through that. She went to work the other day, and somebody backed into our car. Actually, I'm sorry. I should say backed into our daughter's car. There's a long story about that. I'll have to explain that to you kind of off the air. But anyway,
it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. But anyway, no. Yeah, she got backed into the other day in a parking garage. And the guy gave her his number, and she came home and she tried calling like every variation of this number she could find. Come to find out that the one number that he wrote it looked like a 0 was actually a 5. And she didn't realize. I didn't see it either. She kept going, what does it look like to you? And I'm like, oh, looks like a 0 to me.
Try 6.
Yeah. So anyway, she contacted him and said, how do we want to do this? Do you want to do insurance, or do you want to do, like just pay out or whatever? And he said, well, let's try just the payout thing. Go to the, get your, the damage estimated and see how much it would cost. And, and that's what she's going through right now. So now we have to go to a freaking place and have them, give us an estimate as to how much it's going to cost.
Progressive?
No. Well, I don't know what that person has. We have, like Liberty Mutual.
Where do you have to go? Which company do you have to, his or hers? His or yours?
We have to go through his.
Have to go through his.
Well, now see,
I thought parking lots were exempt because they're all no fault.
No.
You just pay for your own.
No, it's not. It's really not. And especially if you don't have full coverage on your car. what are you going to do? You can't pay for your own at that point. But I mean, you could contact your insurance company. If you did have full coverage, you could contact them and let them know, hey, somebody ran into my car and they never left a number or anything, and we're trying to look to see who it is, but they never told me.
Okay, well, according to your insurance policy, parking lot accidents have a $1,500 deductible.
Exactly.
So when you're done paying that, we'll pay the other $6.27. Submit the paperwork by Friday.
Oh, that's okay that you've already paid $63,000 in insurance so far this year. Yeah. Fucking assholes.
I hate insurance. I remember as a young man calling them up and going as far as I could on the chain to get and talk to somebody to bitch because I thought it was unfair. 1987.
Yeah.
I bought car insurance, just bare minimum, just enough to get a POS on the road, $1,500 for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on, I never had an accident. And I know statistics say that I'm going to have an accident, but I haven't had an accident.
Yeah.
You guys are just stiffing me, then I go out and have an accident. Run a stop sign.
Yeah.
Cream two old people in a Chevrolet Caprice Classic.
Oh, jeez. They should have been fine, though. That's a nice big car.
Oh, they were. They were just bawling. I still remember the lady looking at me bawling. And it was like, oh, man, I really feel bad.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing you can do about it.
And dude, I'm sure you had an accident. It is just amazing how, boom, the initial impact. 15 seconds later, you have 5,000 man audience all around you, and they all saw what happened.
That's right.
They're all dying to talk to the cops.
Yeah.
And that day when I creamed those two old people, the cop was talking to the audience.
Right.
And it was really weird because ain't nobody saw that accident but me and that couple.
Right.
Ain't nobody saw that accident.
Right.
And everybody's just, I guess they're just trying to be good citizens. I don't know. Or Johnny B. Goods.
Yeah. That's weird, though, that people would just show up out of the blue and be like, oh, I saw everything that happened.
Yeah, and then the cop said, no, where's the driver of the other vehicle? And like 3 or 4 people with the cop just turned right around and pointed right at me.
Oh, jeez.
I felt this high.
Oh, wow.
And that's a reason why I don't really stop and gawk at accidents anymore.
Right.
I know, at least one driver already feels like a fucking fool. Like an idiot.
The only time that I'll stop and do that is if I think I recognize the car.
Okay.
If that's the case, then I'll stop and I won't stop, but I'll rubberneck. Other than that, no, I usually don't. I try to just keep driving and let the passenger tell me what's going on.
Oh, and there's his head rolling down.
That's right. That's a whole lot of blood for one human. Oh, speaking of which, man, this is like the worst fucking. I don't even know if I told you about this. This was a while ago. This was probably maybe even a decade ago. On Route 15, if you go to York Springs, okay, on the way out of York Springs, like you're heading towards Dillsburg, the Route 15 has a divider, and the divider is.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
The divider is just guardrails.
Guardrails.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's poles coming up out of them every 5 feet or so. And a guy in a Mack truck flipped and went down sideways. And of course, it landed on the driver's side and went down that. And I had a couple of friends of mine who were in the fire company that responded. And he goes, it's the most horrific thing I've ever seen. The guardrails treated him like he was a meat slicer.
That's what I heard,
and
too.
Just took pieces off.
That's what I heard, too, was a slicer.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's horrible. Can you throw them on the grill? I'm feeling hungry for some man tonight.
Did they have an open grill? An open casket? No, yes. I did hear that accident was gruesome.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. It was like, I couldn't even imagine. Some of the most horrific shit, like people, like just one of the ones that always gets me is like in Harrisburg. It seems to happen a lot in the cities like Harrisburg and York. Is families that have a child that's mentally disabled or physically disabled, and they're scourgy people anyway, and they just get the shits of taking care of the kid, and they let them starve to death in like another room or another level of the apartment or house or whatever. And it just, man, it hits me every time, because as a parent, I'm like, I could never do that. Not even for a moment. I don't care if they're physically handicapped or mentally handicapped. Not at all.
Are you talking about the last case in Harrisburg where they let that little boy just starve to death?
Yeah, that's the one I was saying for Harrisburg. There was one in York recently too, like a year or so ago.
No, I don't understand that either. I certainly don't understand how a mother could do that.
Right.
I just don't. I'm not excusing or making excuses or condoning it for a guy, but let's be honest and call a horse a horse. A guy is a lot
less emotional.
Right. And he can turn his back easier on the situation.
Right. Because he doesn't have the emotions running high.
Doesn't have the emotions.
Unless, of course, he's a parent himself and he hears about this situation, then he's kind of like, yeah, you know. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. If I had gotten to the point, you know, I learned many years ago with my youngest when they were, you know, or my oldest technically at home, I guess. When they were very young, they were very obnoxious to me. You know what I mean? It was like, and I knew that the only way I was going to be able to solve this was to grow patience. You just have to grow patience. Now, there are some people that just cannot do that. They I guess they, you know, just can never do it. And they end up, you know, being neglectful or whatever to their children. The children still get raised and, you know, go on to live their lives or whatever. But just the idea of, you know, you have to have that kind of patience to deal with those kids to begin with. Now you have a child that's either mentally handicapped or physically handicapped. I just don't even know, like, how you could even potentially think that it would be okay to do that. But at the same time, I just don't see why they didn't try something to get the help that they need. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have the patience, you don't have the time to deal with this, why not go someplace like a hospital or a police station or a fire company or something?
And drop the kid off.
Right, exactly. Don't force that. Oh my God, that's just.
I think we have laws on the books now where you can drop a baby off at a hospital.
Yeah, I mean there was for a while there.
Is that?
I know that was a huge thing. A lot of people were doing that. Well, not a lot, but a couple.
Is there an age restriction on that, or can my parents take me to the hospital and drop me off? We're tired of them.
I think it's a little bit long now, a little long in the tooth there, my man. No, but yeah, I didn't even say. Just get to the point where, you know, you've had enough. Just take that kid someplace and get somebody to help you. You know what I mean? There's tons and tons and tons of stuff out there for mentally and physically handicapped kids. And it just, you know,
I don't know why I don't know what's going through their head either. Now, I'm sure it's mental illness and they can't quite think right.
Sure.
But they can think right and feed themselves, can't they?
Now, let me ask you this. I know this is going to sound fucking horrible, but in a situation like that, why let the kid starve to death? You know somebody's going to find out. You know something's going to happen. You know something's going to go down. And you're going to get busted, and you're going to have to go to jail for it. And it's going to be murder. It's going to be murder in the first degree for that one because you planned it out. You know what I mean? And took your time and well conceived what you were going to do and then did it. Just the same as if you were to just put that child out of his misery. I know that sounds fucking horrible, but I mean, just I can't stand suffering. You know? Are
you saying? Are you basically giving the advice of, well, you know what, you're going to, you're premeditating to kill the kid anyways. You're going to get busted.
Yeah.
So instead of prolonging the inevitable, why don't you just go start your sentence now?
Right. Yeah.
Instead of waiting 8 to 10 years. Here.
Yeah.
Here's the bullet.
Yeah. Take a temple and check out. Hotel brains all over the wall. Anyway, yeah. So, no, I mean it's a horrible thing. And the other one is accidental deaths, and that recently happened. Now, it's been a horrible. Like today was a remembrance of a child. The guy's name's Todd Heap.
Oh, yeah.
who plays for the Ravens.
He used to. He now plays for Cardinals.
Oh, that, yeah.
I doubt he's ever going to play football again.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much. But that's completely accidental. But at the same time, the feelings and emotions you have, you almost have to be destroyed.
Oh.
Because you wanted that child to grow up, and you wanted that child to be there no matter what.
There are two things in this life that I feel just are the pinnacle of the worst that could happen to you.
Okay.
One of them is having to bury a child.
Right.
And the other one's becoming a quadriplegic.
Okay. Or blind or deaf or any of that.
I think you can get through the blindness easier than you could.
I think deaf. I'd rather be deaf than I would be blind.
I don't know. I thought about this before. If you had to lose one of your senses, which one would it be?
Right.
I pick smell. But then again, you will lose certain things by losing your sense of smell. Eating will not be as entertaining for you.
It won't be as good, but you could pretty much eat anything. It's like, hey man, this dog shit, let's eat it.
Creamy.
Yeah. Jeff and Dan, Dan went to a bar and he was standing there and Jeff's over in the corner and Dan walks up and he says to everybody, hey man, I'm going to eat a bucket of dog shit. And everybody says, I'm going to put some money on that. And then and one guy goes out with a bucket and picks up a whole liter of dog shit, brings it in, and Dan just starts going, scooping. He's eating the shit out of it, man. He's fucking chowing down. Finally gets to the bottom of the bucket, drops his fork in, it goes clank, 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 clank. Jeff looks over and goes, yeah, man, wow, we can make some money out of that. That's pretty cool. Hey, man, Dan, your name's Dan. Let's do something together. Let's go make some money. Okay. So we end up going to another bar, and you end up doing it, going in. They get you a big bucket of dog shit, and you eat the hell out of it. And I'm just like, yeah, and the money's just rolling in, hundreds over hundreds, and you get paid, and I get paid, and everything's good. And we get to another bar, and we say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead. And all of a sudden, you're chowing down, you're going through the dog shit, and you get about halfway down, and all of a sudden, you just fucking puke everywhere, all over everything and everybody. You're just gushing with puke. And everybody's like, they're taking their money back, and I got to pay out, and you got to pay out, and everything. It sucks. And I go up to you, and I'm like, man, what happened? We were on a serious roll. And you just look at me and go, there was a hair in the bucket. Sorry, man. I'd had to use our names, but So, yeah. Sorry. That just sidetracked everything. So... Yeah. Next time I'll make it me. I'll be eating this bucket of shit.
Eating a bucket of shit. Yep.
I got to tell you, man, I haven't been feeling myself lately. And I haven't been feeling anyone else either. So there's that. Yeah. Because, that's just the way it is. What else we got on the agenda, my man?
Well, I'm really light on today's show.
Ooh,
but
light.
I do have a couple things that need to be going over with you. Might as well do it here.
Okay.
And maybe we can get some audience input too.
Okay.
First thing, this comes from the Jeff and Dan Department of Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Yeah. The Jeff and Dan wine tour for this summer.
Yes.
The Parks and Recreation Department want to know when, where, and who.
Okay.
They're basically asking York County wines, Lancaster County wines, Cumberland where, Dauphin where. They all have good wineries.
Yeah, for the most part.
We'll just, I don't know. Is it something we want to travel to? Or
you could do that.
Or you just want to pick 4 wineries around, say,
Harrisburg or Hanover or anything like that. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. It's just to pick them locally and see what kind of response we get from it.
Actually, how many wineries is there? Some wineries out Gettysburg way?
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't we do a Gettysburg winery tour?
Okay.
We could all wear Lincoln hats.
Big hole in it. Yeah, there's quite a few wineries in Gettysburg, or around Gettysburg, I should say. Yeah, quite a few, and it just keeps getting more and more. It seems like it's turning from a hobby for some people and into more than a pastime. It's actually becoming more of a part-time job, or Because, I mean, honestly, there's not much you do when it comes to being a winery. You just make sure you process the grapes, and then you just have to wait.
Do you add water?
I think in some instances you do, yeah.
You add yeast?
At a certain point, yeah, and then sugar.
All wines
Get pretty
yeast
much.
and sugar.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that that's how they do it. One starts the catalyzing, the other one stops it. So yeast starts catalyzing it into, the yeast consumes what's in there and shits out this stuff, and that's what starts turning into alcohol. And then the sugar, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the sugar stops the yeast from continuing on. And that's what the process is. It's something like that where...
What would happen if you wouldn't add the sugar?
There'd probably be a different type of wine. That's how you get all your different types of wines.
Pure alcohol?
No. Yeah, no. You do, in order to get a pure alcohol like moonshine or something like that, you have to distill the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a whiskey or a rum or something like that. Speaking of which, there's a rum shop that just opened up in Hanover. It's one of the first distilleries for rum.
Pass.
Really?
I don't like rum.
Oh,
I don't like rum at all.
Yeah. I just saw that today, though. I was like, that's not bad. Not a real big rum fan, but I mean, since it's local, I might pick up a bottle or two. But I'm more tequila dude now.
It amazes me how this bass-backward state is actually changing and easing up on their alcohol rules.
Yeah.
20 years ago, rum shop, Hanover.
Yeah.
Hanover, Maryland?
Not Hanover, PA. Couldn't even get fucking wine, and inside of like a giant, you go to Maryland, Virginia, any of that shit, it's all there,
When I turned 17, one of the first things I did was go to Chicago.
Oh, yeah?
And I was in culture shock as I walked in the grocery store.
Right.
And it was 25% booze.
Right. Yeah. There's all, yeah.
Wow, I can get this here?
Virginia's like that, too.
And you're not going to ask me for ID?
And the weird part is, back then, there probably were like 7 brands of beer, and that was it. You know what I mean? It was a very limited kind of thing. It was kind of like Budweiser. You didn't have all this shit like Bud Light Lime, Bud Light Margarita, Marley, all this fucking shit. You just had Bud,
Yeah. Well, you had, you're right. You had Budweiser. You had Michelob.
Right. Miller Lite.
Miller. Yeah.
The champagne of beers.
The Champagne.
Yes, and that's an interesting thing. I think that Pennsylvania's finally moving over. I have something to talk to you about, as a matter of fact, when it comes to that legalization of marijuana. I literally was at a race for education thing the other day. We always support our kids when we go to their stuff, and the race for education is basically them walking or running around a track for the most part to try and raise money. And we were there. My wife showed up for the second one. She wasn't able to make it to the first one because she was working, but we made it to the second one. And while we were standing there waiting for our child to walk around the track, we got approached by not only our child, but a friend of theirs and their parents. And we don't make friends very often. It's very strange. But yeah, and they came up and they started talking to us. They're very friendly, very friendly. And I thought they were cool. And then she just comes out of the blue because I told her, I said, I'm partially disabled. I got back problems. I got knee problems. Because I think she asked, why aren't you guys out here, doing it? Because we were on the other side of the fence, basically, and they were inside the track. And she goes, why don't you come out here and, we can walk around. And I was like, I would, but, I'm kind of disabled. And she's like, oh, wow. She's like, I didn't realize it. I didn't see anything. And then I pulled up my pants leg and I had this brace. I have a brace on my leg. And then she looks directly at me and says, it'd be a lot better if marijuana was legalized, wouldn't it?
Oh, it don't matter to me.
Okay. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking, right? We're at an elementary school, or it's actually the high school's track, but the elementary school, in our school system, it's, they're all together for the most part.
One
we're
campus.
There's kids everywhere. There's all kinds of shit going on. And I'm just like, this is a fucking trap. This is a fucking trap. This is a fucking trap.
You have to address that inside your head.
Exactly.
With every newbie.
And that's the weird thing. It's like, oh my God, this is an elementary school parent. I'm like, oh no, they'd be like PTA and shit. And I kind of giggled a little. And of course I wanted to be like, fuck yeah. But I didn't. I sort of stayed on that whole, yeah, that would be, that would probably be very helpful. And she was like, she had this look on her face, kind of like, I don't know what to think. And now I'm thinking, and then she continues talking, and she's like, yeah, she goes, I'm a massage therapist. And, I do this stuff at my home in this gated community, the one you probably know which gated community I'm talking about.
Yeah, York County Prison?
Yeah. Real tall gates, No, but...
I know which gated community you're talking about.
And she's saying, oh, yeah, I do, and she goes, I do herbal therapy. And I'm thinking, God damn it, I should have said, fuck yeah, let's get stoned. And I didn't. Well, my wife was there too, and it's like, you can't just be like, oh my God, you're gonna go get stoned with this woman. That's not cool. But my wife thought the exact same thing for the most part. She was like, I can't believe she just came right out and said, marijuana should be legalized. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't know what to think. And then she went on about that. Now, the interesting thing is my wife has been running into her like consistently. And I'm thinking, fuck, she's a fucking narc, a fed,
Is one of her kids the same age as one of your kids?
Yes, and they're friends.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're involved in activities together?
To an extent, yeah.
Okay.
My son, my youngest, does not do a bunch of, like, external activities, He's just now starting to get into sports. So it's, it's one of those deals, but yeah, it's what he considers one of his best friends. You know how when you're like 7 years old, 8 years old, you're kind of like, this guy's my best friend. And then 2 years later, it's like, that guy is my best friend. And 2 more years later, it's like, these guys are my best friend, So it's like, yeah. And it was a situation where I was taken aback, but at the same time, now I'm kicking myself. Maybe I should have been like, well, fuck yeah,
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it, because if if your wife and her are talking and getting to know each other, that opportunity will present itself again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sooner or later, Miss
Massage Therapy.
Miss Massage Hands.
Yeah.
will eventually see that nothing's going to come out of. Nobody's going to get in any trouble by talking about marijuana with Jeff and his wife.
Yeah. At this point, when you find out it's the Jeff and Dan show, like, even more power to you, brother. Yeah. Let's just talk about Stone Age.
Let me ask a couple questions about your wife.
Okay.
I know her, but I don't know her.
Yeah.
Is she anti?
No. She is not anti, but at the same time, she's not like, hey, let's go out and roll a joint. Not like that. So.
She's not letting it come into her house.
Kind of.
Is her
we won't smoke inside, if that's what you mean.
Is her rules laxing up a bit?
To an extent, yeah, somewhat. I mean, it's actually my rule that nobody gets high in the house. But that doesn't mean you couldn't stand outside the door and get high. It's like, I gotta float this bowl real quick, man. Okay, let's go fucking party.
Nobody gets high in this house without me.
That was actually something that happened when I was growing up. My mom said, if you're gonna get high, you gotta do it with me. And I'm like, okay, Mom, that's disgusting.
See. Do what with you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she meant get high. Yeah, so I'm okay. It's cool. But
that's the difference between your mom and my mom.
Okay.
Your mom would allow you to smoke and maybe even hit a joint a couple times, and I'm sure you could even enjoy a beer.
Right.
After I turned 18, I moved back into my parents' house for just a little bit.
Right.
And when I was moving away, my buddies at the time threw me a little going away party.
Okay.
And we had some leftover beer and some leftover cigarettes.
Okay.
And I kept them and put them in my parents' house,
Ooh.
my parents' closet.
Yikes.
And no, in my closet in my parents' house.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Actually, their closet.
Whatever.
You were right the first time.
Whatever. Well, needless to say, Mom went rooting through my shit.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know why. I mean, she has every perfect right to do that.
Daniel, are you on drugs?
But I came home. And you can just tell. Dad had this look on his face. Edna, he's here.
Oh shit! As soon as you hear that, it's like,
oh yeah, I knew I was in trouble, and I had a pretty good idea what it was.
Yeah.
And I walked into my room. There, every single Budweiser bottle of beer was opened and dumped, and every single cigarette was crushed and snapped in half.
Oh shit! It's like, damn, what am I gonna do with empties? Yeah. Dude, believe it or not, my mom was cool to an extent, but there was a time when she was completely worried about me, like, as, you know, I wasn't performing well in school, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, and she definitely thought I was getting high. Now, here's the interesting thing. In my room, in my closet, the one closet that I had, I actually had two, but the one was a smaller one, and I had broken cigars in there, because I was taking tobacco out, rolling that up, and smoking that, so I had papers. And I had also been experimenting with fireworks. Not that I was pyromaniac, but I just thought it was kind of fun.
Normal boy.
Crazy, crazy shit. Like, you would find out that the stuff inside of these fireworks had, like, burnable paper. Like, I found out the hard way because I lit it on fire and it caught my hand on fire. It just really sucked. But anyway, she discovered my fireworks stash and she discovered my cigar stash. Immediately, the fire marshal got called.
What?
Yeah. Came in, fucking confiscated the stuff and said, you know, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, you get put on notice if we find out anything else that you're doing like that, because he called it bomb making. And I'm like, dude, because I had a camera roll. I don't know if you remember camera film used to come in those little black and gray.
Yeah.
I had one of those in there, and I had a little hole on top of it with a little wick sticking up, but nothing inside of it. I was thinking about making just a big firework, because in the state of Virginia, you can only have Class C fireworks. You can't have Class A fireworks, which means, you know, anything that goes off in the air explodes, any of that shit. The stuff you went to south of the border for, basically.
Anything but little black snakes and sparklers are illegal.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it was just kind of, you know. So, so she got me for that, and then she's like, and I found your weed stash. And I'm like, dude, my mom's like talking like I'm on drugs, and that's why she thought, like, you know, oh, he's on drugs, that's the reason why he's being bad. That wasn't it at all. I wasn't getting high. I had never gotten high. At that point, I had been 14 years old. Tried to get high. Well, yeah, exactly. Tried to get high one time, and I was just like, oh, it didn't do anything to me because I didn't really try it. I sort of like, you know, blew it out, and that was pretty much it. So, and I had been smoking for a while at that point, but yeah, and my mom, so she wasn't like super, super cool. She was concerned, I guess.
Well, she was a new mom, never been a mom to a 13-year-old before.
Right.
What is she supposed to do and think?
Yeah.
She wants to try and raise you right, and still wants to, knowing what I know about your mom, she's probably not that overbearing.
Right.
She didn't want to be overbearing.
Right. And she didn't push things like Christianity on me. She didn't push things like, you've got to do things my way, and, you know, it goes from father to mother to children and stuff like that. She didn't do that. As a matter of fact, I think it was my 14th or 15th birthday. You know, and I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, because at the time I was happy as fuck. But it was like my 14th or 15th birthday, and I got a carton of cigarettes and AC/DC Back in Black album.
Huh.
Yeah. That's what I got for my birthday. And I loved it. I thought it was great because I was really into music, and I had, you know, tons of albums.
There was a time in my life where I really would have appreciated that gift.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I mean, that was just like, oh, you know, that's kind of cool the way, you know. My mom was like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, you know, I don't care. Whatever. And then sometimes throughout my life, I've been like, that bitch. You know, and then sometimes in my life, like right now, I was like, you know, it was kind of appreciated because, you know, I need smokes. And, you know, there's Back in Black. I wanted to listen to that. And I played that fucking album like over and over and over. Knew it backwards and forwards.
I think everybody back in, when did that come out? 1980? 1981?
Not exactly sure. Let's go look while you're talking.
I'll bet every single metalhead from back in that day owned that album, played it several times. And then, after that, they went and bought the album previous to that one.
Right.
For those about to rock. And
right.
Played the hell out of that one.
Right. And you noticed right away. Well, I had already listened to most of those albums. but their earlier stuff, like the Jailbreak of 74 or whatever, 1974.
I never heard of AC/DC until Back in Black.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. I had at that point, kind of gone back and went through their catalog and everything.
Okay.
But in 1980 is when it was released.
1980.
Yeah. So, it had to have been like 84. So I must have been 14.
Back in Black, I hit the stack.
And I know, and I'm glad to be back. Can't lose from the news. That's kept me hanging around. That's a great line. But a lot of people don't realize the significance of Back in Black when it comes to AC/DC. You know what the significance is, right?
They're celebrating not celebrating. They're mourning the death of their previous, I don't even know what the hell he was. What was he?
Yeah, lead singer.
Tour bus driver?
No, lead singer.
Oh, lead singer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was Bon Scott.
Yeah.
And then they ended up moving on with the new guy. And that's what it was back. They're Back in Black. So.
And their voices sounds almost identical.
Right.
So...
Yeah, and that was actually produced by Mutt Lange. I didn't realize it was, but he was famous for doing a lot of overseas bands like Def Leppard and stuff like that. But yeah, 1980 is when it was released, and it was a celebration of the death of their old singer and their new singer Johnson.
New singer's Johnson or
the new singer's Johnson? Ooh,
Yeah, Def Leppard, that reminded me. Def Leppard. Before they were huge, I went to saw them when they were just called Hearing Impaired Leopard.
Just before that, they were like, hey, there might be some little bit of, something going on here. Selective hearing leopard. That's when they were teens, Yeah. They just went on tour. I don't know if you knew that. Again?
Yeah,
it was Def Leppard, Poison, and Tesla.
These bands come back together when they're broke.
Exactly.
and I have no desire, like Guns N' Roses is coming around now.
Yeah, and it's the original lineup too, apparently. It's Slash and, all the other guys.
I have no desire to go see them.
Yeah, because Axl Rose sucks.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole, but his voice also sucks. If you go back in time...
his voice.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you want? Pancakes? Come on, man. That is annoying. I know you used to listen to that shit nonstop, though.
I like Axl's voice.
Yeah.
And I think Axl is a talented musician. But he's like a beautiful girl. Once you realize that she's a problem, you don't think she's pretty anymore.
When you realize she can't understand normal thinking?
Yeah. Cannot understand normal thinking.
Yes, let's spell that out for you.
And same way with Axl Rose. Once you found out he was an asshole and not just an Axl, it'd be like, oh man, I don't even. So yeah. And another thing with the old bands too. Let's just take one of my former favorites, Bruce Springsteen and John Cougar Mellencamp.
Okay.
You listen to one of their latest albums, and the only person getting into it is your great grandma. Yeah. Because the stuff sounds so old and slow.
When I was a young boy, I was loose. Young boy waved. Yeah. I forgot the damn lyrics.
In my teeth.
Yeah, Ozzy went through that period. He actually came out. No, who was it? Nickelback was talking about in their song Rockstar. They're talking about the fact that these old bands get back together, kind of go out on tour, and they start singing songs that they don't even remember the lyrics to. And I have literally, if you go on YouTube, you can find them. There's like a mashup of all these bands, different bands like from the past. When they came out again, they were trying to sing their songs, and their points where they're like, "Holy shit, man, are you that fucked up or that stoned that you don't remember this shit?" Because it's like one of your biggest hits of all time. And you don't remember like the words to it. So
yeah.
I mean, Nickelback. You can say what you want about them, but they were on point. I think they're all right. I do
like them.
I think they're all right. And some of their rough shit. I mean, some of their really, really hardcore stuff is really good.
That one new song you turned me on to is pretty good. I think I put it in my iPod.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. But I hear one thing, maybe you can confirm it,
Okay.
that a lot of these bands today, a lot of these tours that you go see, a lot of these concerts that you go see is all lip syncing.
There's quite a few of them that are, yeah. Yeah.
I guess maybe the dead giveaway is you sound so good and tight.
Right. Perfect pitch, perfect sound, perfect
yeah.
everything, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people, there's technology out there right now that sound men do have where they can take a person who's singing, and as long as they're relatively close and not getting, they hit a flat instead of, where they're supposed to be a little bit higher or too sharp, the technology will take them back to where they're supposed to be. We talked about that before.
Yes.
With,
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune, right. And, that's basically what it comes down to, is those people had the ability to have that technology backing them. What you must do when you do that, if you go to watch a band play live, is you must sit down and say, while you're watching the show, hey man, does it look like these guys are really, really sitting there singing this stuff to perfection? Or is there some stuff they're throwing in there? Dude, I've seen some of the best lip sync artists in the world, like, go up on stage, play, and then their microphone's really on. So they can sit there and, like, say shit while, they're in the middle of the thing, and come on, everybody, put your hands together, and blah, 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 and then they go back to the lip sync, and they know that's what makes people think, oh, this is a great show, because, oh my God, it's all real.
Well, can't you tell? Like, the woman is singing like this, and everything's singing, and everything's just fine. And then whenever she really talks, it sounds a little bit different like this.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to singing, and everything's good. And everybody put your hands together. Thank you, Detroit. And now I'm going.
You would think so. And the other thing you want to be able to do with those, since you just mentioned that, is watch what they're doing on stage. If they're moving around and their singing is inconsistent with their movements, like, it doesn't sound like they're running out of breath. Like, I watched Madonna do I watched her do like a fucking walker across the stage. No, she's getting up there. She was at her concert. She was singing and she was running out of breath. Like COPD kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. And you could tell she was really, really singing it. She was trying to belt out all the stuff. The other thing, too, and this is the thing that, it kind of gets a bad rap, I guess, is that we see a show and we think it sounds great, it sounds perfect, and we're like, yeah, that was awesome. But then you see a show and the singer's fucking up left and right, or the drummer's fucking up left and right, and you say to yourself, man, they're really, really screwing up on this. So they end up, you're like, oh my God, that show was horrible. But it was real. You know what I mean? It was the real thing.
Well, do you want to go pay $37.50 for a nosebleed seat just to watch the real thing, even though they sound like crap?
Right.
Or do you want to go watch somebody lip sync and it sounds good?
Which you could have just been watching a video on YouTube and it'd be the same damn thing.
Or just playing the CD in the car.
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's kind of just, yeah.
I guess maybe it's the light show, which some people have good light shows, others don't.
Best light show I ever saw, Pink Floyd.
Never saw Pink Floyd's concert.
Pink Floyd, the Division Bell, when they came out to support that album. Oh my God, dude, the light show was immense. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen for like the late 80s, early 90s. I was like, this is insane. They had these dancing lights, and it was just, I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can find it. Just look, I think it's the Division Bell. That tour, when they supported it, man, it was like, holy crap, the lights were just awesome as shit. I've never seen anything like it.
Believe it or not, the best light show I've ever saw, and it's a tie. They're both country artists.
Okay.
One is Toby Keith.
Okay.
And I can't remember the other, Brooks and Dunn.
Okay.
Those two put on banging light shows.
Right.
Banging. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Blew away any rock concert that I ever saw.
What the hell ever happened to Brooks and Dunn?
They broke up.
Did they really?
Well, they'll get back together once one of them runs out of money. I'm serious. That's the only reason why they get back together.
You're absolutely correct. It's not for sentimental reasons, and it's not to please the fans.
That's right. When the Hell Freezes Over tour,
right?
It was because the bank accounts were frozen tour. That's what that was.
That's like when I see Genesis get back together again, and I'm like, holy shit, Genesis, man! You don't really ever see them getting back together again. And then they bring out Peter Gabriel, and I'm just like, now I know this is for money. Fuck this, I know it's for money now because
God, Genesis, you guys are getting old. Shouldn't you at least start calling yourselves, I don't know, Revelation?
Exodus, something. You're leaving, dudes. You know, I still maintain. That Phil Collins is one of the best musicians in the world because
Agreed.
He has been able to go, and you know, it pisses me off when people are like, "Oh, I got to be all trendy and shit," and say that Genesis sucked with Phil Collins in it because it, you know, was better with fucking, you know, Sledgehammer Boy, Peter Gabriel.
No, I think Genesis was better with Phil Collins.
So do I.
Singing.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Because I mean, this is the artistic nature of it. You know what I mean? It came out and it was sort of that poppy but mainstream feel. Yeah. But it was like its own unique kind of thing. Like if you look at the Who or Led Zeppelin and you think to yourself, this stuff is timely. I mean, untimely. It will last forever. And nobody will ever be like, oh my God, it's outdated. Never. You never hear a kid going, oh my God, Stairway to Heaven, what's that? You know?
Look, they're bringing out new shows now. Mainly, what is that one with David Caruso in it? Not NCIS, but...
Oh, CSI Miami.
CSI Miami.
Yeah.
All the CSIs are all using The Who.
Yes. Yeah, every single one of them. Speaking of which...
I'm glad we don't have to pay royalties.
I know, right? We're probably going to get sued at some point.
Yeah.
Our LLC can take it. In the ass. Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, man, we're going to have to call it quits for tonight. We're getting kind of short on time.
We're running low on time. We got things to do and people to see, or
yes.
people to do and things to see.
That's right. Exactly. We got those things that happen. And nobody came on for chat tonight. That kind of sucks, but I'm hoping people are actually listening to this live, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We've had a big uptick in the past 2 weeks with some of our listeners, and I'm hoping that we kind of shied away from the the crazy, over the top type shit for tonight's show. Anyway, we'll see what happens next week when we fuck a frog live on the air. You know, come on, man, it's just kind of over the top. You know, he loved it. He's having an orgasm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that's fucked up.
Jeff blew a frog.
It was the WB frog.
Now he can't get the frog to leave.
I don't pay them to fuck them. I just pay for them to go. Get out. Yeah. Ribbit. Okay. So anyway, yes. So is that good? We actually going to be good for tonight?
Yeah.
Right,
why don't you hit that closing music?
We'll do a little bit of the closing.
Oh, yes. And sadly, ladies and gentlemen, there is the closing music. And that can only mean one thing. Our time here tonight is now up. The sands in the hourglass have run out. And it is our dear wish that you have been entertained. Well, at least maybe for a second or whatever it's going to take for you to tune in here next week. So tune in next week, 7 p.m., jeffanddan.com, Wednesday nights, as we're going to play snippets, maybe open some listener mail, and we will solve the world's biggest question, who has the best pizza? All this and more next week on The Jeff and Dan Show. Thanks again for tuning in to The Jeff and Dan Show. Have a good night and a great week.
Only on The Jeff and Dan Show at jeffanddan.com. And now it's Spreaker.com/Jeff and Dan.